Hi.
Hi.
This is like
What? It's sparkly. Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a little bit of light painting with my beautiful daughter Abigail. And we're going to try to break this down as quickly as possible and go through the full edit from each setting to light painting over, making a directional light source and softening skin and, from start to finish. And
I want to do a thing.
you want to do it? I don't know if you know how to do it. Can you do the whole thing? Alright, so go ahead and take a quick look at what this looks like. This is pretty much the final product, and we're going to go ahead and reset and start from scratch. Ready? 1, 2. Hello? Say it.
1, 2, 3.
Yay! Reset! Okay, so there she is. Plain and simple, beautiful still, but we're going to enhance her just a little bit. So first things first.
2, 3.
We already did it. Okay, so I'm going to run one of my own presets that I created just for time's sake, and then show you each and every setting and why I do what I do. So here's what the preset looks like. Sure, baby. And as you can see, I have a basic sun flare kind of going. And we'll go ahead and crop this in just a little bit, kind of center her face. Hey, Abby.
No, ABCY.
I know, ABBY. That's your name, isn't it? And then up here we have the radial filter. This is how you create your sunspots. We'll go over this into more detail, but for now we're going to drag it over to the left corner because that's where your directional light is already coming from. You can tell by the color in her hair right here and the stronger light source up in the reflection over here. Although the lighting is pretty flat, you could come from any direction, but I like to stay pretty consistent based on the available light already, and since it looks pretty much predominantly coming from the left-hand side, that's where I'll put my sunspot. So that's what this filter is right here, and again, drag it up to the corner. You can really put it anywhere you want, but like I said, I'm going to stay consistent with this light. Hey, excuse you. Don't demand. That's not nice. Excuse me while I dress my daughter again. 1, 2, 3. Where's the armhole? I said I was going to be quick, but you know. Oh no! Alright, put your arm in. There we go. Oh no. Ah! Put your arm. There we go. Beautiful. You look just like Cinderella. Okay, and then the second radial filter, this is just a sharpening thing that I keep on there to remind myself to sharpen the focal point of my image, and since this is pretty much like a headshot, I stick it right here in the center, and then I'll just give a nice sharpening area to this area right here. And then as for your basic settings, the exposure didn't really need to be touched here. The contrast you can always bring up if you don't know what that does, adds contrast to your image. It's a pretty basic edit. I always flatten out my highlights and shadows. That's just my style, so that's what I did here and there, and I just barely toggle with the whites and blacks. The clarity I bring up a little bit just to add some depth to the image. Vibrance, play with a little bit. The saturation we'll play with later, and I'll show you how to do that. I usually play with the specific colors, and that's how you really get your images to pop, in my opinion. If you bring up the saturation of the full image, it just plays with every single color, and it starts to look fake, as you can see. Whereas if you play with the specific colors over here, that's really how you get your image to look more true to life and have those very vivid looking colors throughout the whole thing. The blue looks a little extreme to me here, so I'll probably bring that a little bit down. And then the yellows too, just a tad. Everything else looks pretty consistent. The luminance is how I play with the skin tones. So this is, again, in this section over here if you're not following. The luminance and the orange is something you want to remember for skin. If you have a darkened image and your subjects look a little washed out, this is a good way to make them pop. She looks a little bright and almost washed out, so I'm actually going to bring it down just a little bit, and you can see what this does here. If you bring it all the way down, that's going to really darken her, make her look kind of dirty. She looks super dirty. It's kind of weird. And then if you were to bring it all the way up, that's going to make her look really, really highlighted. But when I go through and soften the skin, that's going to flatten out her skin tone even more, so that is why I'm going to bring her down just a little bit. And then the blues, I think I'm even going to just bring up a little bit because they look pretty blue. And then the rest of this, I'll show you how to work with this later. We'll get to this. The first thing I want to start with is playing with that highlighted sunspot in the corner. So we already have it started with this. This is just upping the exposure with a little bit of temperature in the warmer area, and that's how you have your general highlight area. But I'm going to show you one more trick that I like to use, which is really fun when you get into some serious light painting. This image doesn't really call for it that much because it's a pretty well evenly lit image and it is a close-up. The times when you can really play with, making those light painting images is when you have more depth to your image, especially when you're outdoors with trees and foresty type areas. But anyway, so the trick here, what I like to use is the dehaze button, and this is what you'll use to counteract sunlight when you have like a blown out background and people's hair. What? Excuse you? What do you mean? Mommy's teaching.
I like my dress.
You like your dress? Well, I love your dress. Shh.
I do it by myself.
Okay, are you gonna teach?
I like my dress.
That's not teaching. Are you teaching how to do edits? Or are you just talking about your pretty dress?
Yes.
Yeah, I see, I know. Well, let Mommy finish her edit. Almost done. Okay, almost done. Okay, so again, the dehaze, sorry. This is what this looks like, if you can see. It's almost like adding like a matte to your image. I make it really big, and you see how it kind of fades out to the end. That's the benefit of using the filter here.
A blue coat.
A blue coat? That looks purple to me. I thought we were going to do white for your nails.
But I like this one better.
You like that one better?
Yes.
Okay, we will do this as soon as I'm done playing with the pretty picture of Abby, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, beautiful girl. So again, this is the dehaze button, and I pull it all the way back. This is just to give you that little bit of a sunspot over here, and I'm even going to make it a little warmer, just to make it look more, more like a sunset rather than a bright day. So the opposite of this is really cool when...
This blue.
Okay, pick your color and then come sit and wait, okay? Anyway, this is really good to use when you have like a blown out sky and you have people's heads or something in the blown out sky. This is a good counteract to that. So again, dehaze just a little bit up in the corner, and then I play with the temperature, and that's what this is. That's another way to add to your sunspot here. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm going to do here with her face just a little bit because we're already in our filter area. This half of her face looks blue to me, and I know it's consistent with the shadows and highlights of the picture, but I want her skin to look consistent. So I'm going to just warm up the bottom half of her face over here just a little bit. And that looks pretty good. Okay, now the next thing we're going to play with, I'm going to go ahead and delete all these and show you how to break them down individually.
I like this one.
What is that? That's just plain. I thought we were going to pick a pretty color. Don't you want the purple one?
I like this one.
We can do that one. That's fine.
No.
Pick out 3 colors. How about that? So here we have the graduated filters. These are the most fun for me to play with. This is how you really start getting into those dramatic light painting areas. It helps enhance your light direction. So what you do is you take your light area, which is up here in the top left corner, and you're going to burn and darken the opposite sides of your image.
I like
Okay.
this one. And
Hey,
this
Abby,
one.
listen to Mommy really quick. Let me finish doing this picture, okay? Mommy's teaching her friends. Do you see the pretty picture of Abby on the screen? When I'm all done making this look super pretty, we'll paint your nails. These
one
two?
Is, this nails and this nails. This one,
This one on your right hand and this one on your left hand?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Will you be patient for me right here? Hey, where's ABC Mouse?
On there.
Do you want to play one more game on ABC Mouse? And I bet you when you're all done with one more game, we'll be ready to play. Okay? And we'll paint your nails. Did you fart? It stinks. Are you sure? Okay. Sorry. All right, let's get back to this. Almost done, I promise. Sorry for the interruption. At least she's a cute interruption. Okay, so where were we? Anyway, we're going to start darkening the corners of the image to almost create like a vignette type effect, but I don't like the vignette. I think it looks obvious and it looks fake and super 80s. So this is how I create my own. It is the nighttime. You're right. It's 5 o'clock. It's almost dinner time. So we'll pull from the bottom left and then the top right, and I'll show you how I make my images look just a little bit matte, but not all the way matte, because I don't like the full matte look. I like the center focus of my image, which in this case is a headshot, the face area to be pretty, I guess contrasty would be a way to say it. So let's start with our first one. So again, we're just darkening the two corners over here, and then we're going to go ahead and make another one. But this time I want you to bring it down even further, and you're going to bring your blacks up, but let's show you what this looks like without the blacks. So here's your darkened corner, and what the blacks does is it adds just a tad bit of matte to your image, and you can even darken this a little further. This is to your liking, and this is really enhancing that directional light coming from the top left corner that we've now created. So again, you're going to do this up in the other, the top right hand corner, but I'm going to make it not as extreme. This is the darker part of the image because it's the bottom, and I would say the top wouldn't be as dark as the bottom, so that's why I'm not making it as dark as this one. I'm even going to bring this way. And then pull this over here, and you can play with this to your preference, but this is how I am doing it for this particular image. And this is you can tell this is a highlight right here, so you don't want to darken it too much. This is being hit by the sun, you can tell from the picture, so you don't want that to look too dark, and you can probably even pull the blacks up a little bit there too. So there you have it. That's a brief introduction to light painting. We can definitely go further into it with a more layered image. This is just a headshot, basic directional light. And now we can go over skin tones and softening skin in Lightroom, which if you have serious skin problems, you can't really nail it too much, but you can definitely get some good looking skin in Lightroom. So the first thing I'm going to do is take away this little mark on her lip here. I don't know what that is. Bad mama didn't wash her face. And then there's like a little dry patch right here on her nose that I'll take care of. But for the most part, I just kind of leave her skin be. She's a baby. She doesn't really